we'd like to invite our 4 panelists to join me up on the stage, please. Quang, Steve Partridge, and Tim Palmquist, and Aaron. So what we wanted to do, now that we've had some excellent presentations and amazing content from the world leaders in this industry, we wanted to take a minute and ask some questions that we know we've heard from our clients, we've heard from the world. When we try to solve problems, these are problems and questions that we've heard from everybody. We wanted to bring it to the world leaders in technology. And today we have with us the best VMS in the world, the best access control system in the world, the best camera manufacturer in the world, and the best security integrator in the world on stage for all to ask questions. And I've tried to do my best to come up with what you think and what you might want to know from these guys. So we'll take a few minutes here and we'll ask the group some questions that are perplexing the world with regard to security. First question I have for you lovely gentlemen. What advice would you, the industry experts, offer if you were invited to consult one of your customers in physical security system planning to remain current with important tools, but still careful to avoid the dangers of bleeding edge? And I think we'll just take it one at a time, and we'll start with you, Steve.
Thanks, Andy. I think I would start. Well, actually, it's kind of a two-pronged answer, and Quang touched on it quite a bit in his presentation, and it's as it relates to AI and business outcomes, right? So, as Quang said, AI is here, it's coming, but the way Access is looking at it at the edge, right? I think between Milestone and Linnell S2, we need to incorporate that. And that's one of the exciting things that we are doing. But as an end user, right, you need to, I think, vet that out. Lean on us, as Quang requested, provide that data so we can provide what's best for you. Another item on just in a scenario of what we offer is system hardening and cyber assessments. I don't think enough people take advantage of cyber assessments and looking deeper into the cyber world. It's come very fast, as we know, and the ability to hack, whether it's hardware or software, another thing that I think end users should take a harder look at.
Thank you, Steve. Tim?
So, short answer to that question, I think all of us should be technically inquisitive, but deployment conservative, meaning that there's some great tech out there, and every day we see something else that's interesting. And looking into that is fascinating to think about how you might solve problems tomorrow with new technology. But at the same time, not all of it is proven. If you've ever been to a trade show, you know what I mean. You see some great stuff, not all of it really works, right? So this is where you lean heavy on your system integrator partner like Stone Security. They are taking the time to assess and make sure the new tech is ready for market, it's ready for your deployment, and you're going to get the results that you're going for. So technically inquisitive, conservative in deployments, in my opinion.
Thank you, Tim. Aaron?
So piggybacking a little bit off what Tim said, is it's surprising how often our customers are maybe not aware of the technology they have at their fingertips. Many systems we see are not utilizing the full capabilities of the platforms. All of these companies represent a lot of innovation, a lot of money that's been spent on developing and advancing their products. And so I think just knowing what you have available, when the upgrades come out, when the updates come out, we publish those out to our customers. We try to make people very aware of those. So knowing what is in that upgrade, is that something that would benefit you as an end user? So first, being aware of that. I think second is, I think we also see where people aren't using the technologies that's at their fingertips. We see, the capabilities that's at the edge within the access devices is remarkable. How many of you are using those technologies, right? How many of you are leveraging AOA on cameras that have that as a native feature, right? These are free features. These aren't something you have to upgrade to. It's just a matter of getting it there, whether it's us that's there to help you deploy them or us educating you. It goes the same with the access control. Watch Milestone puts out great videos about the new features that are built in. If you're going to pay for your care, take advantage of those new features as they come out. It's easy just to, see those come in. Maybe you were a little slow to implement those upgrades, but once you do, know what's in it and then deploy those new features out into the market. So I think is just, again, the innovation. These companies are innovating. They're moving. We came back from being over in Denmark and Sweden recently, and man, they are taking big jumps ahead. And so, but you've got to do something with the tech. If all you're using your security systems for is just basic capabilities, if all you're doing is recording video and looking at it forensically, I think we're really missing the mark. So I think take a little time and be aware of what's there.
Thank you, Aaron. Quang?
So I think in every industry, the formula is very similar, right? You're going to have a balance of startups that are going to innovate and move fast, and you're going to have established businesses that are very scalable and very, foundationally set. And when it comes to scaling and deploying those technologies, I think one of the key things that I spoke on is really, regardless of what industry it is, I think in the security industry, our focus is on the customer. Right? It's a balance of technology and business, right? It has to make sense for the customer to invest in the technology that makes sense for what they're looking to achieve. So because of that balance, you really want to have to be able to weave through all that noise and figure out who, at the core level, we talked about this, who are you going to trust with those components that will make up, that will end up giving you that business outcome, right? And when you think about trust, you have to look at, where are organizations at and who are they partnering with? And it's all about collaboration. When you think about it, right? Think about the boom with mobile applications. All of a sudden, everybody was an app developer, right? But eventually what happened was the consumers on your mobile phones, you have so many different apps to choose from, but you're going to look for the leaders, the top that goes up to the very top, right? So from that standpoint, when it comes to, whether it's sensors, a VMS, access control, whatever, your customers are going to want to use the best of breed, right? And it's good to have options, but usually the really good quality products, you'll see that formalize over time. So it's always, don't get into the hype of everything that's happening, especially with where AI is right now, because that's really like sending a lot of people into different ways to look for ways to solve things. But I think fundamentally, it is going to be very transformative, and we just need to be able to educate and collaborate. And one of the key things that I'm also a huge advocate of in our industry is working with associations. So CEA, ASIS, NACA that does Pro AV. So it's about educating our integrators, our end customers about all the technology coming in, because the marketing teams are doing a great job. They're sitting all the marketing terms out there and they're selling that. But when it comes to actually promising, I think that's where you really have to rely on everybody, not just the vendors, not just the integrators, but the industry associations, everything all coming together and seeing that our industry is growing and scaling at a very rapid pace.
Yeah, thank you, Quang. Any other follow-up to the questions or to the responses that came after you two first, gentlemen? We'll ask the next question then. And I mean this one with a little tongue-in-cheek. Remembering Blockbuster Video, Kodak Film, and in our industry, Pelco, they're glorious giants, have all seen the sun set over their success. As emerging technology continues to bubble up and appear hot, new, exciting, and innovative, and where you have all been the go-to solutions for decades, how do you prevent yourselves from becoming, but even just seeming, obsolete? Sure.
I actually think that's kind of a simple answer to that is we've been the market leader, right? We have this enormous customer base. Jointly, Stone Security, Milestone, Access, we have this customer base. So if we focus on the customer and developing for the customer and, from an investment standpoint, not having to reinvest with the hottest whiz bang, but cloud, for instance, right? On-prem to cloud is a very simple item to achieve, where some of the newer players in the market are starting with cloud. But if we focus on the customer and what they have and the things they like, bring it to cloud. Mobile credentials, I normally don't bring my phone up, but I brought it up as a prop this time because as phones evolve and mobile credentials, mobile readers, building it for the customers that we have today to keep them with us so that they don't have to go and head off with a startup and ultimately, be the pitfalls, be the guinea pigs. We need to develop for customers.
Thank you, Steve. Tim.
Well, I love the Pelco reference. I've definitely used it before, but I know something about the Kodak story. Kodak is a company that was known for film, and they invented the digital camera in 1975. And then they invented the CCD image sensor, in 1986. They were first to market or first innovator in these areas. But their film business was so profitable, they didn't want to undermine that revenue stream, and so they didn't move. And that failure to move for the wrong reasons caused them to be made redundant. And I think for us, the same situation is true. We make a lot of money doing certain things that we've always done or have done for the last 25 years. And for any company that doesn't want to get caught in that same trap, you have to lead with tech, and you have to follow tech. You have to follow innovation and bring that forward, and be willing to sacrifice your historical revenue stream or put it at risk at the same time. And so that's a ubiquitous statement, I guess, for any manufacturer. Lead with innovation, lead with tech, and take risk with your historical revenue streams. I think that's essential to walking the talk of being relevant for the long term, not just for the short term.
Great answer. Thank you, Tim. Aaron.
So my response is probably a little different coming from an integrator standpoint, but we know that our customers are busy. We know that you have businesses to run and jobs to do. Your job isn't to stay current on all the tech, but that is our job. That's the role that we fill. Excuse me. And so we really pride ourselves on doing that, right? And when we talk about our fierce loyalty to our partnerships, our customers, no offense, sit a little above our manufacturer partners. And so it's our job to please them, to make sure they continue to be innovative, to continue to lead the way in technology. So I think for us, that's our job, right? If the ones represented on this stage and in this room aren't doing the job that they need to do and in innovating, then it's our job to find those who do and to deliver those to our customers. And so that's what leads our, I think that's what we're passionate about at Stone, is finding the best solutions. We're very fortunate to have partnered with companies like these that continue to innovate. Going back to my comment earlier, is they really are taking massive leaps ahead of the competition right now, the people on stage right now. It's scary for us when we see acquisitions like Canon with Milestone and Axis, and it's turned out to be a really good thing. We have the similar concerns as what some of you, when a Honeywell comes along, right? You have the same concerns in a carrier situation. But time and time again, we've seen our partners, it's a commitment that they have to doing what they're talking about on stage, and they've continued to prove that to us. So I think for us, as long as they continue to behave the way they always have, then it makes our lives a lot easier, and it leads to a lot of consistency that we can deliver.
Since I'm on your team, I have to agree with you. Quayne.
I think one of the key things here is that a lot of organizations really have to listen to their customers. I put that chart up there about our customer being at the core, and that's not just the end customers. Our customers are you guys, our partners, our integrators, our integration partners like Milestone and Linnell. And a lot of people, unless you've interacted with Axis, you don't realize the culture that we've created at Axis to really and truly listen to the customer and evolve our product lines and change it. A lot of times we will admit we are wrong and we will pivot, right? And I think a lot of organizations don't do that. They'll say that in practice, but they don't actually execute on it, right? And I think that's the huge thing, is you got to execute on it. I think also for us, we have a commitment to reinvest, and reinvesting into R&D means we're always aware of things that are happening. And we do realize there's a lot of bleeding edge technology out there. But again, we want to know, is it practical? Does it make sense to release it now? Do we wait? Because I think right now, when you think about AI and everything that's happening, it is bleeding edge, but it's also changing very rapidly. Things in the AI world, if you take yourself out of the security world, is changing every month. I mean, that's very fast. In the last 2 years, the exponential things that have happened in the AI world is just unfathomed. Like, and the thing is that AI has been around since like the 1950s. So it's not nothing new. It's just that a lot of the things now are catching up to where what was, dreamed about, decades ago is happening in real life now. So that's the other aspect of it, is reinvesting. And then you have people like myself and others within my team that challenges our own company. So that's the great thing about it, is being the company that we are, we have folks here are very adamant about, hey, here are directions we need to go to, or at least investigate. And that type of interaction amongst your own organization is a great way to challenge yourself and really look at where you want to go and look at things that can be, good pieces to that business opportunities.
And I've witnessed Axis develop, and especially even cloud technology. You guys basically built cloud technology before the market was even ready to receive it.
Yeah, we did. I mean, we've been doing cloud for 10 years, and only recently have we revised it because, again, looking at all the key feedback that we got, we knew cybersecurity was a huge foundation. And that's the reason why our revamping and launching of Access Cloud Connect this year was all about making sure we had the foundation in place to scale. Because you talk about all the partners out there that are using cloud, it was different even 5 years ago, right? So you have to worry about that. And then when you look at cybersecurity, not to talk about all these bleeding edge technologies, but there's quantum computing that's on the bubble outside. And if that ever happens, that's going to destroy cryptography, and all the cybersecurity folks are going to be like, what's going on, right? So all these things we are fully aware of. We just want to make sure that we're using it, we're preparing our products and our solutions in line with those technologies actually hit the market, and making sure that that's very less impactful to our customers and yourself when you guys have our components within the complete system.
Thank you, Quang. All right. What excites you gentlemen the most in the short term and then in the long term about our industry, and more specifically the company you each work for?
Well, for me, I'll say the merger with Honeywell and where we're going and what's transpired in just a short 4 months. So the company I work for, I've been with Linnell I started with Linnell S2 for 10 years. And what we've seen from Honeywell, what we've heard, actually what you and Brent heard from Bilal just 2 weeks ago. Honeywell is a very engineering focused, heavy engineering company. And what that unlocks with Linnell S2, coming from a Carrier, right? Carrier, a spinoff from United Technologies. Where we sit now with Honeywell, that future is extremely exciting. The people we work with as well, but as an industry, and I keep coming back to AI and machine learning. If you look at access control, right? It's a heavy database, right? There's a lot of data in there that just hasn't been unlocked. And taking that data, and when you kind of bring that together, right, as identities are managed from both a video standpoint, whether it's at the edge or with Milestone, and you bring that all together, and we're all doing AI individually and bringing that data together, I think that's really the exciting point for me.
Thank you, Steve.
So in the short term, for Milestone and for the broader market, and you probably heard that in my address earlier this morning, my passion, or what I'm really interested in, is this pivot from on-prem to vSaaS for video. And I think this pivot and transition over time is as consequential for this industry as analog to IP. I think it will have that kind of long-term effect on our industry. So I think as we bring Arcules vSaaS into our portfolio of products alongside Expertech, that's really energizing and exciting for what we're doing in the short term. In the longer term, and you look at the trends within the security marketplace, I think it's AI or IA, depending on which preference you have for which one. Maureen's laughing in the back as we heard this is securing new ground, that maybe it should be intelligent automation instead of AI, but choose your acronym. But the automation of human task And what that unlocks for us in the future, I think, can be also equally transforming, actually more so transforming. And then contemplate this. I talk about this sometimes when I talk about VSaaS. What happens when all that data that we normally throw away every 30 days actually ends up in the cloud, when it becomes cost effective to do that? And then the cloud providers start to apply intelligent tools to that data set that nobody's ever had access to or really cared about. And they discover new trends and new money logic that's appealing to the marketplace and deliver that back. I think that's a fascinating conversation. At Milestone, we're looking at a data insights platform and all of these types of things because this is where the business is going. And I think longer term, that'll be pretty fascinating to see how that unpacks.
Thanks, Tim. Aaron?
In the short term, I'm most excited about the innovation of the partners that I've mentioned. I know it's been frustrating for us as an integrator all these years. Like Quang said, AI is not new. That some of these capabilities have been talked about for years. I recall anomaly detection conversations must be at least 10 years ago. It couldn't do it, but the companies were there. They were attempting to sell it. So there was some version of that, but we've been frustrated for a long time. So short term, I'm excited about what we can do today. There are real solutions that actually do something. If you're not leveraging that, if you're not leveraging some type of AI or analytic on your systems, then you're missing out because there's a lot of really good stuff we can do today. And a lot of it, most of you probably own some portion of this already, whether you're using it or not. So I'm excited about that. Long term, I'm excited about, I think what Tim mentioned is the automation of things. It's still a lot of work to turn it on, right? We're starting to get the data. The camera is the greatest sensor out there on the video side. But then what? What do we do with all that metadata that's generated? And we're really not able to tap into that quite yet. So I'm excited for the automation that's coming between these systems is now that we have these results coming out of the products and out of the software platforms. What do we do next? How do we tie that into our HVAC systems? How do we tie it into our lighting automation systems? And how do we pull those all together without it being such a heavy lift that we are faced with now?
Nice. Good. Thank you, Aaron. Quang?
Cool. Yeah. As a technologist, I definitely love all the different innovations in technology. And short-term wise, I like to ground things. And I think one of the things Aaron kind of mentioned is one of the things we want to do is make sure that our customers or the user of our data are maximizing every bit of what we can provide. And I think that's one area that is going to be unraveled over the next couple of years as all these technology pieces come together. So from a short term, that's what I'm really excited about. Our mission statement at Axis is innovating for a smarter and safer world, and I love that because I get to play around with tech, and I get to make the world a safer place with the things that we work with, the partnerships that we form, and that's just to me is a very positive aspect. I think long term, I feel that long term wise, there's going to be a lot of partnerships in the future. Our market is growing at a very healthy rate. There's also bigger markets out there that also really are going to be interconnected with our market. And for me, that potential opportunity for us to carve our own value to that is huge. And that offers a ton of business opportunities at the same time. And I think that the partnerships here could be a lot different. Like the next time we have a GTC meeting in like 2 or 3 years, there's going to be some really growth in partnerships because I think that's going to happen organically.
I agree. I especially agree with the overall goal of everyone's stated presentations today to remain open and to continue to leverage each other as partners, technology partners, integration partners, end users coming to us with ideas. Those are good comments. I'll ask one more question because I believe we're out of time. I have 1,000 questions, but I won't keep you all here that long. As you interact with customers who have deployed your products/services, where do you think these customers could realize a broader scope of what you could do for them? And are there specific offerings you're excited about and wish more people would try?
Yeah, as we meet with customers, it's kind of the old 80-20 rule. 80% of the customers use 20% of what we offer, and 20% use about 80%, right? But some of the things where we see there's the interest, right? Going back to cloud, right? Our Elements product and our recently released OnGuard Cloud product, which is, a managed service for a lot of the existing customer base that we've grown over the years in OnGuard, and taking them, right? Define your flavor of cloud. Is it your cloud, a colo cloud, or do you want it to be our cloud? And let us worry about, Microsoft patches and anything that your IT departments utilize. And from an element standpoint, right, that's built for cloud, from the cloud up. So I would like to see more of our customers take that step. And there's small ways to do it, but I would like to see more of that, and not be so, I guess, fearful in some ways. But it's until it's readily available, right? Same thing with mobile phones, mobile credentials. It's a no-brainer with security and customers still using prox cards, quite frankly. Mobile credentials, the security's already there on the phone. You don't lend your phone out. You might lend your card out. And just the safety, availability. When you have a credential on a phone, and as people accept privacy as more secure and less big brother, there can be some value from a mustering standpoint, active shooter standpoints of locating people in a building, as well as getting indoors and finding, again, using AI to find malicious intent. So some of those things, I think it comes around to cloud and mobile.
Yeah. Thank you, Steve.
A bit of a maybe broken record on my side, and also getting back to Aaron's comment earlier, what we see is a lot of our installed base doesn't always understand what they already own. And we see this when we go and have a conversation with them about renewing their care or their software maintenance, and understanding the new functionality that is there, or when we have an end customer who is giving feedback through our system integrator that the product's not meeting their objectives. They wish it did this and this and this, but it already does those things. They just didn't realize that it did. And so reminding people of the innovation that's coming every 3 or 6 months in software upgrades, reminding people of the innovation that they purchased, didn't need at the time, and don't understand it's there when they think they need something new. I think that's a conversation that is always going on in the marketplace. And so in the short term, I think it's just that, as you said, the 80-20 rule of a lot of stuff is there, it's just not always utilized. Looking further forward, though, what would I advise customers on? It's using data in a completely different way. There was another speaker who made a comment, if you're just using it for video and access control in a reactive kind of way, it's not very practical. A lot of this technology is so much more capable, and we'll see the use cases for those capabilities unfold more and more here as we have greater capabilities with technology that surrounds these solutions. And so the data insights, data-driven decision-making, and automation that comes with that, I think will be really interesting.
Thank you, Tim. Aaron?
So I think to start, I'd like to, as a customer, we would love to see our customers dedicate more time to enhancing their systems. So it's not always easy, again, busy doing what you're doing every day. So when new features do come out, it does require that, right? Whether it's having us come in or a partner come in and bring your system up to speed, or to implement some of these solutions, or let us sit down with you, let us show you how to do the first two so that you can implement it, right? Whether it's, again, Edge Analytics, or it's a new feature that Access or LinellS2 has put into their product on upgrades, but allow us to come in, take the time, is just dedicating the time that's necessary to take advantage, to modernize your system and keep it current. Otherwise, we're back to the dark ages of servers in closets where you've got to go, walk in and sit there in a cold room doing the work that needs to be done. It doesn't happen, right? It gets forklifted out every 5 to 10 years when you discover it's broken and, a new one comes in. That is not the intent of these systems. These are evolving systems. They need to change, they evolve, or they die. Outside of that, I would say we'd like to see our customers really take the time with us as integrators, again, in evolving those systems, but also, I had a really good thought here I was going to finish with.
Maybe training. I imagine you'd like them to attend our trainings so they can learn.
Certainly,
Mind reading. We're on the same team.
certainly attending events. Yeah, they take advantage of these systems, all right. If you don't see it, if you can't touch it, the GTC, we have Access Experience Centers. Wesco has huge, what is the Wesco Centers called?
The Chicago Center
Yannick-
for Innovation
Centers.
Center.
There are resources at your fingertips. Come in, see it, touch it, play with it. There is so much at your fingertips, but if you don't use it, it doesn't do any good. Don't let your systems become these stagnant objects. Dedicate the time that's needed to sit down with us, sit down with any of the partners here, and modernize your system. It'll take time. We're happy to train you on how to do it. You own a lot of this. As we've mentioned, a lot of this is already built in, but it's going to take a little bit of time for now. One day, you can probably just talk into it, and these advanced language models are just going to go do it for you. We're not there yet. It still is a little bit of a lift. So take the time that is necessary to modernize your systems.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I think the digital transformation didn't stop when we moved from analog to networks. And I think we're still going through that digital transformation as other components of technology are influencing that. I think one of the key things, and I'm fortunate to have interacted with a lot of end customers and taken this journey with Access, back in 2018. But what the security industry is not understanding is the untapped potential of all these systems that they manage and they operate, whether it's video surveillance systems, access control, building automations, building sensors. What the key thing here is when I talk to AI companies outside of our industry, they've been building all their technology and all their models based off scraping data off of the internet. Who has a rich amount of dynamic data that hasn't been trained on or scraped on? It's our industry. It's everything from video to images to access control data. And here's an opportunity. And this is the reason why you see so many AI startup companies coming into the security space, because here is a way where the end customers are realizing, guess what? My data is very valuable, and how I can provide that same value to other business organizations within my company to really show what kind of outcome that we can produce, right? So I think that's the huge shift that we're seeing. And the customers that I've been talking to the last couple of years are a little bit more mature in their journey and realizing that, hey, our organization, we're kind of like our own data center. And you have to have that mindset to understand that my data is very valuable and these opportunities are coming, and setting that up. So that's where a lot of my discussions around end customers and the systems we have, I think that's one thing that is lacking in the security industry. And we've been trying to work with that with a lot of different industry associations. It's just showing security practitioners and end customers that you guys have a lot of untapped potential here and definitely have a lot of power, a lot of say. I think in past, most security systems were like, hey, we want to be isolated. We don't want to talk to IT. We don't want to talk to anybody else. We'll just have our own enclosed system, right? But I think we need to get away from that silo and really show the value of collaboration, just like partnerships here. That's going to further grow the industry and really help us achieve what we need to go to, yeah?
Very nice. Thank you, Clay. Thank you very much to our panel, and we really appreciate you guys being here with us and bringing the content like I mentioned earlier. Thank you very much to the audience and to the folks who have joined us on the live stream. We really appreciate everybody's participation. We'll be around. Anyone who is here, please stay, mingle, hang out. We've got dessert cookies in the back. We'd love to hang out and enjoy your company a little longer. So nobody's kicking you out. Hang out with us. But again, thank you, and let's give our presenters and everybody another round of applause.